The Cricut Infusible product that you can draw with comes in both a 0.4mm pen as well as a 1mm marker. And I've just gotten a brand new pack of the 1mm markers, and I want to see how they compare to the 0.4mm pens. My name is Kelly, and let's get clacking. I'm going to be using the same sheet as what I did in my coloring in video, where I showed you that you can color in the Botanicals set. The Botanicals is the black and white floral Cricut Infusible Ink set, and it is really pretty, but it looks absolutely divine once it's been colored in with the pens. Now, this is kind of like a Cricuteer's adult coloring book type thing, which I'm absolutely living for. I'm going to be cutting just a plain splash mug template out of the Infusible Ink Botanicals set. This way I can color in everything that I need to color in, and I don't have to worry about coloring in too much or coloring in areas that aren't actually going to be cut. Preemptively, I do have higher hopes for these pens as they are markers, so there should be a little bit more ink in them. I know that many people have had problems with the Infusible Ink pens, the 0.4mm ones, and they say that they're very dry because when you do buy the package, it is stored cap up. So many people think that you should actually have them cap up, but you shouldn't. You should actually be storing them cap down so that the ink all runs down to the bottom. Many people have also complained that the pens have been dry, so I'm hopeful that the markers will be a little bit better. The Infusible Ink pens are not my favorite Cricut product in existence. They are great for people who just want to try a few things, but they are quite expensive. And unless you really like coloring in, then maybe, printing out something sublimation-wise might be something better for you to do, as these are of course very time intense as well. So let's compare them and then see what they look like on a mug once they've been pressed. And right at the end of the video, I will show you what they're going to look like on a mug once they've actually been pressed. So we will be able to compare the coaster that I did and what the mug is going to look like. So I have the pens on my right and the markers on my left. And they do come in exactly the same color range, so we won't have to worry about comparing apples and oranges. We can compare all of the colors to themselves, which is fantastic. So let's start off with one of the problem children, which is the kind of reddish mark, and this is the fuchsia. Now, this is normal copy paper. We do need to make sure that it is normal copy paper that we use and not sublimation paper. I'm not sure why it doesn't work very well, but the pens don't like sublimation paper at all. So we're going to show you just how we color in. And I'm just doing a little bit of coloring in just on a blank page just to test. And of course, when you're working with, fine details and things like that, the thin pens work really well for that. My handwriting is awful, I know. And that seems to work quite nicely. So now if we take the marker, you will be able to see the difference between the two. So it's obviously a much thicker tipped pen. And we're going to do the same kind of thing. It's like writing with a Koki pen. So it's a very different result, and interestingly enough, the colors are actually the same colors, but they don't actually translate the same onto paper. This one is a little bit more pink than that one, and that's obviously got to do with the concentration of the ink, I would imagine. But if we go over this one again, it does darken up a little bit, but the color still looks a little bit off. And obviously to get the same right on exactly the same lines is a little bit tricky. So it's interesting to see how the colors directly next to each other compare. The marker still looks a little bit more red and the pen looks a little bit pinkier. What I've seen many people do when it comes to working with these is to actually swatch them, which is probably a very good thing to do for these. So all that you would do when you swatch them is you just take a little sample of each color. So you would do a little block like that, maybe even do one with a double layer and one with a single layer. And then you do the same with the pen. It doesn't have to be a very big block. It doesn't have to be a very big sample of color. You can obviously do as big as small as you want. And then you would do that for every single one of the colors that you have. So we take then, this is the actual red one, and then we would make sure to keep in line with the markers, and then we just double that one over, and then we do the same with the pen as well. So this is kind of what I meant about the pens going dry, is that so many people have had problems with the pen, and you can see that I have the same problems as well, which is one of the highest reasons as to why this product is not one of my favorites, because you pay a lot of money for them and then they're dry. And what is also interesting is that there is no distinction between the two different ones as to which one is a marker and which one is a pen. Obviously we have the M and the F at the bottom for marker and fine point, and it does say marker on the side, but there's no visual visible difference. So it would be nice if they had like maybe a white ring around the side or a white ring around the bottom or something to more obviously visually distinguish the pens from the actual markers themselves. If you're working with both of them, it might be a bit difficult to just grab the one and then you accidentally think that it's the other. But when it comes to coloring in things like the Infusible Ink sheets, that's kind of where the marker makes things like this go a lot better, because you can color them in a lot quicker. So that's kind of why I like them. But then you can use the fine pens, the 0. That's the marker. See what I mean? Then you can use the fine point pen to then get a little bit of a detail or to concentrate it in a certain area. I do find blending to be a bit easier with the markers than what it is with the fine points. So you can blend a little bit better, so you can get some color variations, which you can't really do with the fine points. If you had to go in there with the fine point, it's the same color. Okay, well, first of all, this one's a bad example because this color is dry, but if you had to go in with that, you can't really blend it as easily. So it doesn't work as well on the copy paper because the copy paper is very thin, but I was able to blend on the Infusible Ink sheets quite well. So I'll show you a few snippets of me trying to color in the Infusible Ink sheets. Now that the mug template has been cut, I need my glasses for this one because I'm going to be coloring this in. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be using the pens for accents, but I'm mostly going to be using the markers because the markers, like I mentioned, cover a little bit more ground, and let's hope that that comes to a slightly better end result. So I'm going to start with some of the greens and color in most of the leaves and things like that by using an assortment of different green pens. So one of the things that I have remembered about these pens is that they don't like to be colored over and over again on the Infusible Ink paper. Essentially what it does is it almost pulls away the other color from it, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to see what you're working with. So try not to go over it too much while it's wet. Once it's dry, it's a little bit easier to work with. After quite a while of coloring, it is now completely colored in. And of course, it was much nicer coloring in with the markers because number one, they're a bit thicker and they're easier to work with. And I wasn't having as many problems with blending and things like that. So I was able to get some nice color blends over here and just variate the color a little bit. And it's all completely done. So my mug press is busy warming up. It'll probably beep any second now. And then I'm going to wrap it around a mug and press it and show you in a second. There we go, all done. And this is what our mug looks like. So you can see that this is a much better result than what we saw on the coasters, especially if we compare these two flowers because they're similar colors that we've made. You can see that I was able to get a much better gradient on this one than I was able to get on these. just purely because the marker is thicker, it blends a little bit nicer. You're able to actually soften the colors a little bit. If you like the scratchy look of the pens, then by all means, the pens work very well, but I personally much prefer the look of the markers. So I'm definitely glad that I bought them, and none of them that I used were dry. I tried to use as many as possible. None of them were dry. So I'm very pleased with them. Hopefully it's a better alternative than the pens. So if you are also not impressed with the pens, then maybe try the markers, because maybe you'll like those a little bit better. Now, if you want to know how to layer mugs, and this is my absolute favorite mug to make, then check out this video on the screen here, as it'll take you through all of the steps on how to achieve this result. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you there, and remember, be kind to someone today.